Amazon, coronavirus, Saudi Arabia, Genie Oil, Venezuela, Port Neches, Texas, the TPC group explosion, Amazon, all kind of things, the Pentagon Cloud Network, Jeff Bezos' phone being supposedly hacked by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the largest oil reserves in the world, all of these shutdowns. I mean, this is crazy. They're all connected, but how? Oh, let's get into it. So many of you might know that Venezuela is the largest oil reserve in the world. Oh, also the Golan Heights is part of this as well. BCCI and Fox. This is so much information. It's mind-blowing. So we've found some very, very interesting information that ties to what is currently going on with the corona situation. I'm sure many of you already know that the CDC has put out a be prepared alert, which is what people should do, absolutely, because no matter what it could or could not be or is not, they have plans of something, and you would rather be prepared than not. Now, I'm not saying go put yourself into debt over this. Be responsible, especially if you have children, and have all of your ducks in a row. Have food for, I would say, 2 weeks, a month. The CDC is saying 2 weeks. I would say have a month. That doesn't mean you need to go out and get like the most expensive stuff, but be prepared. And if you know how to can food, go ahead and do that. Make some spaghetti. I have a video that I did spaghetti and red beans and sausage and a few other things, and I can those up, and noodles will last for a very long time. The only thing with noodles, you'll have to worry about water, so I don't think anything's going to happen to the water supply, but again, be prepared. They have those 5-gallon jugs or whatever at Walmart or Tractor Supply or wherever you want to shop. Speaking of shopping, let's talk about Amazon. I have mixed feelings about Amazon, but Amazon and the corona situation could very well be connected. How, you ask? Well, it is very interesting, and it'll make sense once I get through it, but I want to go through some things to make you see what has happened before and why they would do something like this situation. But real quick, I want to talk about something kind of funny. My video the other day apparently made so many people angry. I don't know, I lost like 100 subs. I'm glad to have lost the dead weight, because if you are going to choose any president over Christians being persecuted in any country, when I'm simply laying out the facts, let me just, I'm going to do a quick recap. Okay, so it is illegal in many states in India, and they're trying to make it countrywide throughout the entire country, illegal to convert to Christianity. So if you consider that religious freedom, well, I think you're confused about what freedom means. Because that's what I talked about. I talked about the fact that our current leader praised Modi for the wonderful job he's doing with their religious freedom. They don't have religious freedom in most places there, and not even for when it's legal. They are burning family members in the street. They are burning churches down. They are burning their Bibles. They are beating up little children. And I'm just showing you the hypocrisy of what our current president is saying. Like I said, if you see, I get that this comment is so silly. Well, a couple of them. Would you have rathered Hillary? That was 3 years ago. I'm discussing what is occurring now. And when he says he's going to do something but then doesn't, should we not say anything about it? Should we just pretend it's not happening? Of course not. I don't care who the person is sitting in the White House. I'm simply pointing out the facts. And for the there's a few comments that I wanted to address. So that one I get all the time. Another one is, oh my gosh, you must be a Obama slave, something, just like silliness. Obviously, I'm far, far from liberal. But I do have morals, values, and ethics that I'm not going to turn a blind eye to. Again, if you support Trump because you want the wall and all of these things, and that's your driving factor, okay. My point is, he surrounds himself with these people, even creating this hashtag evangelicals for Trump group. Obviously he didn't himself create it, but he had an entire like a rally, evangelicals for Trump. If he's gonna do that, and then at the same time not say anything about the Christian persecution, then stop saying that you are for Christians. And even if it's in other countries, then don't say anything at all. Just say that you're not religious. Say that you aren't Christian. I mean, we know what he is. We know who he supports. But my point is that he's lying, and people still yet continue to believe him. I even had somebody comment that he is our only savior. I'm sorry. No, we only had one of those, and it sure in the world wasn't Trump. Okay? All right. I know, I could go through some of these, and I was going to go through many and make an entire video, but some of them, they're just not even worth talking about. And to be honest, I deleted some of them because they were not helpful to the conversation, and they were just rude and angry. I'll just say it nicely like that. If you want to bow down to Trump, that's fine. I'm not going to. And I'm going to hold him accountable for the things that he does say. If he would say, oh, I'm Jewish, so, whatever. But that's not what he's running on. He's acting like he's Christian, and then even saying they're saying, oh yeah, he's going to totally talk about the Christian persecution going on in India, or in China, or in Nigeria. And then nothing happens. He says nothing about it, and then even praises Modi for the religious freedoms that they have. But people still continue to not see it. Many people see it. And those are my intelligent people in my audience right now. So, whatever. And another thing, people are like, well, what's a medium? You know, like, what would be the medium between the DC being so crazy and, you know, we essentially cannot trust DC at all? Well, I've talked about that. Local and states need to step up. That's your answer. Because as long as you back your states and your local government and don't allow the federal government to supersede that, then you really don't even need to worry about who the president is. Because it doesn't really matter. When you look at the Constitution, now when they start burning the Constitution, ripping it up and pretending it doesn't exist, that's when we need to say, hold up, wait a minute. And actually do something, like even run for office. You know, I actually looked into running for governor in Louisiana. I realized you had to have like $100,000 to even have your thing put up. And then we had Ralph Abrams running against, there were two Republicans that were just had millions of money. Ralph was one of them that just, like, people were throwing millions at him and whatever. So it's like, that just wasn't going to happen. And that's sad. It's sad that, and those are some policies we should look at too. It should have nothing to do with your money, your status of money. You know, however we could do that, if we could make it to where they can only receive certain amounts, not from certain groups, like not huge groups. I know they do have some laws, but some of them just aren't. Like, you know, people get millions from out of state. It doesn't make any sense. Or out of the country. And that shouldn't occur. It should be, you're voting on people's merit and what their policies are. Not because they have a certain letter next to their name and they're saying they're going to do these things for you, when maybe their history shows otherwise. You see what I'm saying? Like, obviously we can't judge everybody because of maybe they haven't been in office, but when you see somebody saying, oh yeah, I'm totally for this, and this, and their entire life they've been against that. You see what I'm saying? Anyway. Okay, let's get on with coronavirus. I know people are like, oh my gosh, get to the point, and I'll have a comment like that. Don't leave that comment because I'm going to delete it. I wanted to get, you know, on that because I was just looking at anyway. And I'm going to give y'all this that I'm going to be reading off of, that I have printed up, so you can research it yourself. Okay, so this is essentially, it's an outline, so you'll be able to go through it and actually look into it yourself as well. And actually, I'll probably just like put a picture of it at the end and you can pause it and look at the questions or whatever. So, bullet point number 1. Research what was Swan Inc. On Ambani also, and then research Telenor contracts with the Indian government. And when we look up those people, it's very interesting, very shady. So this Anabi, I have no idea how to say it. They were in connection with all the corruption with multiple situations. The 2G scam, I don't even remember that, but apparently that was a thing with Telcom. And so you have all of these shady dealings. I mean, this is crazy. 2G scam. So, and these people are still running things. This was all the way back in 2000 and, let me see, like 2013. One was like 2009 when all of these corruption things happened. But yet he's still now, I mean, in a position of authority. And that's what happens here. You know, I mean, it's crazy. But it's going to get better. I mean, with this. So, Ani Ambani then invests close to $2 billion into Hollywood companies, DreamWorks, 650 millions, and Imagine, 500 million, plus buys over 100 IMAX theaters after the 2008 meltdown. Let me break that down. So what they did was they did some scams, took that money and put it in Hollywood and put it here and put it there. This is very close to what they did with the IMBD scandal that was connected with that Malaysian flight that supposedly crashed or didn't crash. And what movie was there was a movie funded, Wolf of Wall Street was funded by that scam money. Well, I mean, you can't call it scam money, that money they took from the country. So they take the money and have all these shell companies and stuff, and then they go and put it in Hollywood or in these pretend companies or whatever. All right. So then Ani sells his stocks and theaters at a profitable rate in 2014 and closes up shop in Hollywood. He checks out with a neat $5 billion in profit. Very nice, right? Sad. Anil then teams up with the Gates Foundation. Secretly, of course. Always off the charts, and they do get into nefarious trades like trafficking and vaccine programs, building factories and laboratories in India. The Gates Foundation and their backed NGOs get kicked out of India. U.S. trade war begins after Trump's election. Tariffs kick in. China sees the danger in their currency getting devalued dramatically. China unleashes the old Ebola modified into Corona in a controlled environment. So, you know, this is it's an actual virus. This actually is occurring, but all these things are occurring. You see what I'm saying? So they released it in a controlled environment and then told the world that, oh no, it could turn into a pandemic. You know, so they released it and let people fly here, fly there, do whatever for a short period, okay? And now it's in multiple countries. So then we have Bill Gates has already mentioned, see, they had it perfectly because Bill Gates already had mentioned, 4 or 5 years ago, that there was going to be this upcoming pandemic, and they even did the 201 event. So, how, you see what I'm saying? So people connecting this to 201, technically, it's not. It's China took advantage of the fact that they did that 201 event because they know that people like us on YouTube are going to be like, oh my gosh, they had the 201 event. This is it right here, okay? So we have like 5 situations going on. You see what I'm saying? Bill Gates has already mentioned about the upcoming virus that could kill 65 million instantly, right? Why not wipe out everyone on Earth? Ani Ambali owes several $1 billion to Chinese and Norwegian companies and banks and wants to declare bankruptcy. Perfect, right? Here's the good stuff. Well, I mean, it's all good, but in the meantime, Jeff Bezos claims that MBS hacked his cell phone using WhatsApp and also claimed to have lost $10 billion contract because of Trump on the Pentagon Cloud network, which technically he kind of did, and now our Pentagon Cloud is in the hands of Israel, and I've done a video about that. But anyway, so yeah, the cloud computing programs. And in the year 2001, China was supposed to have collected $4 trillion from U.S. Treasury notes issued in Reagan's time, valued at $250 billion with BCCI. anybody that has looked into 9/11 knows who BCCI is, which later collapsed, and the Chinese mob families, the Maiwis, collecting all treasury notes backed by the 2,500 metric tons of 22 karat gold. Very nice, very nice. And then in 2001, in September, the same 250 billion had miraculously risen to its real value in the market at 27.3 trillion. If dissolved on September 12th. But what stopped this event? The parallel 9/11 event. Isn't that interesting? These people are greedy, and they will do anything for money. Which countries hold shares in and with the above mentioned $27.3 trillion? Well, China, US, Japan, Russia, Scotland, Italy, England, Germany, France, the KSA, Qatar, Kazakhstan, and the UAE. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Aren't all those the same countries? Well, except like one or two of them that. Sorry. No, I won't get into that. What is going on here? How much did Trump borrow, and from whom did he borrow that in the last 3 years to fund the budgets? That would be from Genie Oil. What was the payback for Genie? Building the wall, Golan Heights, Venezuela oil contracts, and the Russia-Syria-Turkey alliance over disputed territories. So which one of those has not been fulfilled? Well, the wall is not technically up. Golan Heights is done. Russia, Syria, Turkey situation is pretty much done. Not the Venezuelan oil contracts, though. It's interesting how everything seems to tie in perfectly. You know, I was wondering, I was like, are they ever going to just admit that this was a horrific plan to try to collapse Venezuela and do the most horrendous things to them to take their oil and gold and coltan and whatever? And then month after month we see more sanctions, more sanctions, more sanctions. But, you know, and it was bad in the beginning for Venezuela, but it's on the upswing right now. But yet I'm saying for them, but yet Trump just slapped more sanctions on them. Now we know why. Because he owes some people some contracts. And now this also makes sense as to why there are oil refineries here in our states that are owned by Saudi Arabia. Oddly enough, one of them had a random explosion occur back on Thanksgiving, and nobody's allowed to talk about it. They're suing because the houses literally, like, windows blew off, just horrific, and it let out all these chemicals, and it was bad. I've gotten some information from that. You know, I made the allegation back when it happened that Saudi Arabia did this for insurance money. And it looks like that's absolutely what occurred. From some information that I received that night before the explosion, all their systems were just acting crazy. All their computer, you know, their board and everything, that they can see the levels and, you know, all the stuff that it has done. It did something that they'd never seen before, and they were like, what's going on? Like they had been hacked. like it was being controlled elsewhere. For those that don't remember, that was in Port Neches, Texas. And they have an uphill battle. And this needs to be exposed. I mean, all of this. It's weird how all of this comes together. It is very interesting. But, well, let me talk about Amazon real fast before I get into Port Neches stuff. So, think about it. Amazon. If you scare everybody to have to stay in their houses and not go out, not go shop, not go do anything because you've released some virus, that, I mean, we don't know the extent of it. So, please, I want to make sure that people realize, please, you need to be prepared. I don't know how much was released. I don't know where it is. All we know is what we know. And I'm getting reports from people that are working in hospitals that, yes, they do have patients there being quarantined or being treated for this. So it absolutely was released. We don't know the extent of it, but I believe it will be more of a shut everything down type of situation. How perfect would that be for Amazon? Amazon has a grocery store. You can buy stuff from Whole Foods now there. You can buy anything you want right there on your computer or your cell phone. And they even have the capabilities now to drop it by drones. Drop your products with their drones. So, all the time when you, like every investigation, follow the money. And you will almost always find what you're looking for. Disclaimer, I don't know any of this is for a fact. So Amazon, please don't sue me because I have nothing. But Port Neches, I want to touch on that real fast because I'm going to do an entire episode on that, an entire like series or something, because this is a big deal. These people are having to sue, and most of them don't even know. The only reason they know it's that company is owned by Saudi Arabia is because of my video. And otherwise, because it's a company underneath a company. And so they just thought it was, gosh, I can't remember the name right now. Saudi Aramco, okay? But it's called the TPC Group, is what it is right now. And most people don't know it's owned by Saudi Arabia. So they're essentially telling them to shut up. Even people that don't work in the facility, in TPC. Because what occurred was all the neighborhood around them, the houses, the windows blew out and all of these crazy things. I mean, their roofs caved in, entire rooms caved in. I mean, the explosion was harsh. It was felt here. I was in East Texas, well, kind of like Central Texas at the time, so I didn't feel it because I wasn't here. But it was felt here, and that's about an hour and a half away. But you know, most people they were like, why do we have to be so quiet about it? Like, what's going on? And now they're seeing, and they don't want to shut up about it. I mean, and I don't think they should. I believe this is a national security threat. We have Saudi crazies owning oil refineries that, on a whim, if they need some money, they'll just blow it up. Who cares what chemicals it lets off into the neighborhoods or if it kills anybody? You see what I'm saying? They are a national security threat, and they should be treated that way. I mean, look, in Pensacola, we had that Saudi national whatever that was training to fly F-16s that we sold to Saudi Arabia, and he just opened fire and started killing people at the Pensacola Naval Station. I mean, it's insane. These people should not be allowed to own refineries here. It is a national security threat. But anyway, this ties all these things together. These people are insane, and they will do anything for money, including and up to kill people. We all kind of know that, but now you see the extent of this. And they kind of did this with SARS as well. There were people that made tons of money off of SARS by short selling stocks and whatever the heck they do with the stocks. And this is something that I know a lot of people are saying this is 5G, this is that. 5G is dangerous, but I don't think this is connected. But wait, let me say, it's not that I don't think it's connected. I think that will be another thing that they'll just be like, heck yeah, let's roll that out too, because if y'all haven't seen, they're like bragging about, look how amazing this is. We can use our 5G technology to fly the drones into these neighborhoods and do this and that. So it is an aspect, but it's not like the defining factor. That doesn't mean 5G is not dangerous. It's super dangerous, and everybody should be boycotting it. Everybody. I heard one channel say that, and there's nothing we can do about it. Oh yes, there is. Oh yes, there is. We just all have to be willing to do it together at the same time. Cut off the power to it, if you know what I mean. Destroy them. The boxes, not people. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's just say, let's hack them. We can hack into them. Actually, there is plans to do that from some people I may or may not have talked to. But we can do something. People saying we can't do anything. What? Where are you? Our founding fathers would be like, what is wrong with you big weenies? Like, you do nothing. We lost all our brothers and sisters, and we still kept fighting. We kept that flag up. Remember, that song where they kept the flag up? Even having to stand on dead bodies to hold that flag up? That's what they did. And this is us. Well, guess there's nothing we can do about it, y'all. Sucks. Hey, look at the Facebook. Y'all look at what's on the Facebooks. And I can make fun of Southern people because I am a Southern person. But seriously, that's what people are doing. It's like, we can't do anything about it. Well, if you have that attitude, then nope, you can't do anything about it. But if you unite with people and stop worrying about who the president is or who the this and that, y'all, they're all controlled by the same puppet masters. Why do you think they're trying to destroy Bernie? I mean, Bernie's like the complete opposite of anything that we would want, on the conservative side. But they want to destroy him. Why? Because they want somebody that they can. I mean, I'm not saying no. Bernie is not somebody to support. I'm just saying, look at what they're doing. Like, they will destroy anybody to keep their same, same all the time. The same people being controlled by the same puppet masters. Not that he's not, and I'm not saying vote for him. By no means. I'm just saying, look at what they're doing to him. Like, they're making him, like, he's been in Congress for so long, and all of a sudden, they're like, oh, he's a this and a that. But y'all have been working with him this entire time. You see what I'm saying? Like, they would rather throw him under the bus and have Trump. Do you see that? That's how much they work together. That's how much they're the same. Again, I'm not saying to vote for Bernie. I'm not. Honestly, the person who's in the White House should matter very little. The person next door should matter a lot more to you. Next door to your house, or down the road, or the local farmer, or the local lady that makes shirts. Those are the people that should matter. This political theater is created to instill division and distraction while they're around shelling money all around the world with their scams, because we continue to allow them, because we're like, there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, there is. We can unite and say enough is enough. Stop shopping with these people. Stop using their products. Go out and talk to your neighbors. Run for local government. There's so many things that we can do. But laying down and taking it isn't a good option. We've seen that where that's gotten us. So, anyway, guys, for the record, I don't trust anybody in DC. And if you are going to treat them like your savior, then you probably should do a lot more thinking about your life. Anyway, I'm going to put this at the end of it so you can take some screenshots in case you want to look more in depth into this. But y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye, guys.